Welcome to Philosophy in BIM today. In this video, I'll share my tips and tricks to show you how to model this curved slat wall system or ceiling system in Revit. Let's get started. As you can see it here, I have an example to show you the curved slat system. So let's take a look in the 3D view. It looks something like this. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through how to do this from scratch. So I'm gonna go ahead and select all these and delete it and start from scratch. Okay. So first thing you need to know is to tell Revit to define a work plane. What we're going to be using is the structural beam family. Unlike last time, I'll show you how to use the beam system to draw these panel for wall and ceiling applications. This time, because it involves a curve, so I'm just gonna use the beam family to do just that. Okay. So in this example, I'm going to be using this wall to kind of demo that concept. What I need to do to get started is to use the set work plane. All right, I have to tell Revit where I'm going to join these curved beam in my model. So I'm going to use pick a plane, and I'm going to selecting the surface of this wall here. I'm gonna go ahead and use the beam family right here. You have two options. You can use any of these sketch tools to draw the shape of the beam, like the linear one, for example, or just simply draw an arc like that. You can see that I can simply draw a curved beam in this vertical plane like so. I can also use another workflow. In this case, I have a model line. I have to start with the model line first. Model line can be found under the structural tab or the architectural tab like so here. I'm gonna just use the spline tool to draw my spline like that. I can make some adjustment to my spline like so, and then I can go back to the structural beam command and simply use the pick line tool to form a curved beam like that. Okay. So once you have this beam drawn in this vertical plane, I'm gonna take this one here. You can still use these parameter cross-section rotation to change the direction of the beam like this one. So I change it to 90 degree, and then I could go ahead and take this beam here. I'm gonna go to the top view. I'll be using array. I'll be using the linear array, using the second option, and simply just making an array of this beam. Let's just do a 12-inch on center, and I'll have, for example, 20 of them. Just like that. You can see that I'm quickly forming like a curved slatted beam group like so. It's not like a beam system. Again, I'm using array. One of the benefits of using array is that I could change the number array anytime that I want. I can say I want more. Just by typing the array value, I can have less. So using array is much better than just copying the beam itself, because you can always change this number here on the fly. like so. You can also, again, while you're in the array group, I could go back and select, say, the original one. I can go to the edit group and I can say, you know what, I want to change my beam size from 2x6 to say 2x8. I could also change the rotation parameter and say, you know what, I don't want 90 degree, I want 120 degree here. You can see that I'm slightly tilting this beam here like so. If I hit finished, all the array group beam is going to update it just like the original one. So I can use this concept to create some interesting slatted system for my ceiling application or my wall application. Okay, well, I can use this one. For example, I have a model line. I could go ahead and go to the structure tab, choose my beam family, and just pick line. Oh, you know what? Okay, I will have to, in this case, one key to remember is I need to make sure that the 3D snapping checkbox should be checked. Let's try again. You can see that now my pick line actually picking the curve of the spline instead of drawing a straight line. Let's go and get rid of this one. So if I have a wall or slat actually in the vertical application, I could again use the same concept of array. Let's go to the top view and take this beam here and use array. Let's do a 6" in center this time, which I want 20 of them, maybe more, and just creating these again wavy walls system. Very simple and very effective. I know some of your viewer might disagree that, well, this is not going to be a wall in Revit, or it's not going to be a ceiling in Revit. Well, again, yes, it's not going to be a wall category or ceiling category in Revit, but instead of doing it as an in-place family or doing it as a family, this actually provides another way to easily model something as as curvy, as complex as this one, like the sample. Okay, again, you have two approaches here. My preference is probably going to be using the model line, simply because that I could make sure that I sketch the shape that I want until I use pick line to pick the model line to model my slat. One thing to remember in this case is, because I have my model line drawn here, after I use pick line there, my model line, if I ever actually updated my model line, let's just say I'm gonna pick this guy over here. Let's say I have a model line again. If I were to adjust the shape of the model line like so, you can see that my beam is not going to self-adjust it to the shape of my model line anymore. Again, only if I have to go back at the group, I probably need to delete this and just go back to the beam and pick the line again. Just make sure that I can pick it like that, so I can kind of update the shape of my sketches, so to speak. Okay, I hope you will find these tips and tricks easy to use in your project. That's it for today. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. I have more Revit tutorial in the future video in my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.